Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Camille. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today's video is actually going to be covering quite a serious topic. We're going to be talking about what's been happening to the rabbits here in the Americas, and I'm hoping that this video is going to be informative to you and give you some good guidance on how to protect your furry companions from this deadly disease. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about RHDV2. Unfortunately, there's been an outbreak of rabbit hemorrhagic disease virus type 2, also known as RHDV2. It's been mainly focused in the southwestern region of the United States, affecting states such as New Mexico, Texas, and Arizona. But due to the highly contagious nature of RHDV2, experts predict it moving across the country with quite ease. And there has been reports of RHDV2 as far north as Canada. So it's a disease that shouldn't be taken lightly. RHDV2 affects only rabbits, meaning domesticated and wild rabbits. It's not a zoonotic disease, meaning it's not going to pass on from your rabbit to you, and it's not going to affect other animals within your household. Unfortunately, it only affects your furry companion, and it's kind of a silent killer. RHDV2 does have a high mortality rate, but is not as big as the original RHDV's mortality rate, which ranged from 40 to 100%. But RHDV2 in general should not be taken lightly. Symptoms that your rabbit may have RHDV2 is fever, inappetence, dullness, lethargy, respiratory issues. Rabbits have also been known to develop congestions in their membranes around their eyes that can cause nervousness or excitement in coordination. It can also cause a paddling movement, and unfortunately, rabbits who display these symptoms could pass away within 36 hours. Now, if your rabbit at any moment displays any of these symptoms, please contact your veterinarian, as this is an emergency and should be treated as such, and you should be seeking medical attention or guidance from your local exotic veterinarian. It only takes a few viral particles to cause infection in a rabbit, and symptoms can present within the first 9 days of being infected. RHDV2 can survive for months in organic material. It's an incredibly hardy virus, meaning that it can survive variable temperatures and great distances. One of the main ways that it's spread is through a simple insect bite. So I'm going to talk about how you can protect your rabbit a little bit later on. For now, I want to talk about the vaccine aspect of it. The RHD vaccine has actually been used quite successfully overseas in countries such as France to slow the spread of RHDV2. So you're probably wondering, is it available here in the United States? And that answer is yes. So it's not approved for commercial use in the US and Canada. However, organizations such as the House Rabbit Society have been working hands-on with veterinarians and state veterinarians to import the RHD vaccine. However, the USDA is closely monitoring any vaccines that are administered during this trial period, if you will. So I actually happen to live in one of the hot spots of RHDV2, which is New Mexico. I think we had few of the first confirmed cases, And our House Rabbit Society actually worked very hands-on with Dr. Zimmerman, who is our state veterinarian, about getting the RHD vaccine. And I'm very lucky in the fact that I actually work at one of the clinics that offers the RHD vaccines. And my kiddos are very lucky to have an exotic veterinarian that is very well aware of what's been going on. So I was able to bring them in to get the vaccine with quite ease, and the process of it was very simple. I had to sign a waiver because this is something that is trial within the United States. The USDA is closely monitoring it. They wanted us to be well informed of the pros and cons in it. My veterinarian explained to me that this is a vaccination that should be boosted every year, meaning that this is not a one and done kind of vaccine. So if the USDA was to continue to offer this vaccine, I should be having it done every year at their yearly exam to ensure that they're protected from RHDV2. And I'm okay with this because I understand that vaccinations are important in animal welfare, and I'm more than happy to ensure that my pets are protected and safe from any potential virus. So I said, yeah, let's do this. So we did the vaccination. The vaccination itself is done through sub-Q, which means it's administered between the shoulder blades, and my kiddos didn't even feel it. And then after the vaccination was administered, they were observed for about 15 minutes to ensure that there is no vaccine reaction, and then they were given a clean bill of health to go home. So with the vaccination and my extra vigilance, I feel very comfortable with them being protected from RHDV2. So this extra vigilance I'm talking about is things that you can start implementing to protect your own kiddos to ensure that they're protected from RHDV2. So some of these things I was already doing, like my rabbits are already housed indoors, but there's other things that I started doing more diligently to ensure that they were safe, happy, and healthy. So the first thing, I've already kind of brushed on this, is ensuring your rabbits are housed indoors. We already talked about one of the main ways that it is passed on is through insect bites. So to help prevent insects from biting your rabbits, it only makes sense to bring your rabbits indoors. Now I could talk about how it's more important to have a happy, healthy rabbit inside as opposed to outside. This is not the video to do it. I know that some people's parents or significant others do not want a rabbit in the house. I understand that. But during this current pandemic, maybe it's worth just saying, hey, I want to ensure that I'm protecting not only my rabbits, but any other rabbits from getting RHDV2. I would like to bring my rabbits indoors. Now, if your rabbit's already indoors, but maybe get supervised outside playtime, keep them inside for now. Unfortunately, they're going to have to be inside rabbits only until further notice, just to protect them and to protect any other rabbit from getting it. Because unfortunately, if your own rabbit dies from RHDV2, chances are it's starting to spread to other kiddos within your county. So just keep that in mind. The next big tip, and this is a big one, is to not introduce any new rabbits into your household. Now this might be hard. It's really important that you're not introducing any new rabbits into your household, and especially avoiding rabbits from places such as Craigslist, where you don't know the husbandry that went into it. For rabbits in New Mexico's community, the New Mexico House Rabbit Society have actually taken off all of their adoptable rabbits from their website until RHDV2 is under control. So the only rabbits available in New Mexico at the moment are the ones from the shelter and the ones that you find on Craigslist. If you absolutely must bring a rabbit into your household, say you're a foster and there's been an emergency foster, or two, you rescued a rabbit that had otherwise been abandoned, please isolate for at the very least 14 days and isolate in a completely different area of your house. So you should do proper sanitation techniques every single time you interact with it, so making sure you're washing your hands thoroughly. I would go even as far as to change my clothes every single time that I would interact with it. You have to ensure that um, your your original kiddos aren't sharing like food, water bowls, toys with the new ones. Other tips and tricks are removing your shoes outside. You might want to consider removing your clothes in a different area of your house if you've left to either run errands or go to work. Personally, myself, because I do work with animals and other contagious, not just RHDV2, so like parvo and stuff like that, I make sure I remove my clothes and I put them in a completely separate area of my house, as potentially not to infect any of the animals into my household. Another big thing that they're suggesting is to walk your dog with booties if you're walking them outside the house. And if you have inside outside cats, leave your cats inside. Now, I'm putting this bullet point on here because I feel like some people would be able to follow it. However, in my household personally, my cats are inside outside, and it's not feasible for other members of my household to follow that rule of keeping the cats inside. As much as I would like it to be, I know personally for our household we can't be perfect with that, but I absolutely do not let my cats anywhere near my rabbits ever. And if I'm going to be petting my cats, what I do is I make sure I wash my hands very thoroughly afterwards, along with the slippers that I wear outside my room are left outside. The next suggestion is to don't go foraging for any additional greens, so no dandelion greens, no twigs for them to chew on. And then the last thing that I started doing more of, because I did this anyway, was to sanitize their food and water bowl. But as opposed to doing it like once a week or so, I am now sanitizing it every single time that I either refill their water or giving them their first amount of greens of the day. And I sanitize it in a 10% bleach solution as recommended by the USDA. With my extra diligence and the fact that they do have vaccines, I do feel very comfortable with where they are at now with their protection towards RHDV2. However, it's always better to be safe than sorry, and I will be continuing to be this vigilant until said otherwise. So just kind of keep a lookout and see where we are in the state of the world when it comes to RHDV2. You know, the House Rabbit Society is being very good about keeping others up to date on it, and they're the ones that are going to be working with your local veterinarian and your state veterinarians about getting the RHD vaccine into your state. So it might be worthwhile to reach out to them. And experts at this point are in agreement to the fact that they don't believe that the RHDV2 is spreading nearly as rapidly as it would have if we were still doing rabbit shows. Now, because of the current human pandemic, organizations such as 4-H have had to postpone any rabbit shows. So there's not been a large like congregation of rabbits, thus slowing the spread of RHDV2. So if you happen to have come across a wild rabbit that looks like they may have passed away suddenly, please, please, please do not handle it. I wouldn't even go anywhere near it. I would probably contact your local wildlife rescue, as they may have veterinarians that may want to perform a necropsy on it to see what they passed from. Now, if your rabbit happens to pass away very suddenly, please contact your local veterinarian. They're going to be able to direct you with the proper procedure on it. Again, a necropsy may have to be performed to determine cause of death and to see if it's RHDV2. I do want to just let you know, because it is quite alarming, it's just right in the name, it's rabbit hemorrhagic disease. So hemorrhagic usually means like a bleeding, especially like a bleeding of the brain, and a lot of times there's blood stains around the nose and the mouth, and it's not a pretty picture, and I just want to prepare you for it as a just in case you happen upon it, because it can be very disturbing. I mean, at this time, the spread, it's there. I think we've determined it could be worse. There's ways to protect your rabbit, and you should look into possibly getting the vaccine if it's offered within your state, or see when the vaccination will be offered. I think it's also important to do your own research on the matter. The information that I gave you, I've done research on it. I also am very fortunate in the fact that I do work hands-on with an exotic veterinarian. To be well informed on it, I think, is very important, especially if you have your own rabbits. So if I missed anything at all, or if you have information that you would like to share with other rabbit lovers, please post it down below. If you have any questions or concerns, again, please post them down below. I'll try my best to answer any questions that you may have to the best of my ability. Hopefully my future videos won't be as serious necessarily as this one. I'm really hoping future videos will be a little bit more lighthearted than this one. I'm so sorry that this is my first video on my rabbit related channel. However, I didn't feel comfortable postponing this at all. I think it's very important to be informed about what's been going on. And although this is not new to European countries, it is new to the Americas, and it can be quite scary. So please subscribe, like, comment down below, and I hope you all have a lovely day and stay happy. Bye.